fight against HIV/AIDS, and also I think it's I first met him when we were working on debt cancellation, and he kicked that off, and was followed through by his successor brilliantly. And between those two presidents, I can tell you, they really made an enormous difference, particularly on the continent of Africa. And I can report to you this evening that as a result of debt cancellation, and I see Cardinal McCarrick here too, another activist for debt cancellation, as a result of debt cancellation, there are an extra 40 million children going to school on the continent of Africa. That's an extraordinary. And how about that cat, Bob Gates? I mean, he's done a lot of covert work in his time, black ops. But who'd have thought he'd be calling a budget chairman to fight for the 150 foreign assistance account, a Secretary of Defense who hammers Congress for more aid? I mean, are you people on drugs? It's like, what is going on? That other well-known hippie, Jim Jones. I mean, General Jones just blew my mind a few years ago. He rang me up at home one weekend in Dublin. My boy John, little boy, so excited. He says, "Daddy, there's a general on the phone for you. Does he have a tank?" I said, yes, John. Lots of them. And other stuff. But General Jones wanted to talk about the work we were doing on the One campaign. And he said some very striking things. He said, I'm a Marine, Bono. I said, yes, I know, sir. He said the men and women of the Marine Corps are the most extraordinary people on the planet. And he talked about Omaha Beach. He talked about the courage it takes to lay down your life. And he said, these brave men and women, they don't mind taking hostile fire for the right reasons. But he said they do mind taking hostile fire for the wrong reasons. I asked the general, what's the wrong reason? He said for being American. And it kind of sent a shiver down my spine. He said, when people have the wrong idea about us, and he sensed that Americans wanted to show the world what they were for as well as what they were against. And he told me that the fight against poverty reminds the world of American values, which in turn helps to make America more secure. And he was incredibly knowledgeable about all development stuff, and I was really taken aback with him. Now, why did the general's words send such a shiver down my spine? Because, if you haven't known, my spine is Irish. And, why should I care? Well, because all of us have a stake in this word America. From rock stars in D.C. to street kids in Rio, from Harlem to Haiti, from Cape Town to Cairo. We all have a stake in this word America. Now, why? That's because America is not just a country, it's an idea. Ireland is a great country. I love it. It's been everything to me. It's not an idea. This country is an idea, and it's a great idea. So we fight, we argue, we bitch, we protest, we pontificate, we sound off like I am tonight, because we know somewhere in our waters that this place is not just a country. It's an idea, a contagious thought, not just a physical landscape or a people defined by their borders. And I just wanted to tell you tonight that I really believe in the idea of America. And I believe in it because at its core is a three-corded strand, as important to me as rhythm, melody, and harmony. I'm talking about equality, justice, and opportunity for all. That's a catchy melody you got there. However, with implications. And the piece we got to review constantly is the idea of justice. You see, I don't come at the poverty-fighting business from the point of view of charity. I come at it from the point of view of justice. And I know that many of you do too. And I'm deeply moved to discover that many of you are equally offended by the hemorrhaging of human life around the world, especially when we know that not too costly interventions can stop the bleeding. Now, I know the cost of life is very real in this room. I can't even imagine. But what I think General Jones, Secretaries Gates and Clinton, Senator McCain and others are getting at is that somehow these worlds of defense and development are inextricably linked. They're not the same thing. They're very different, but they're linked. And we need to see them as part of the same picture. They're both essential if we really want to build a world that's more secure, more prosperous, and more just. And it's more important than ever that we see those connections, especially in asymmetrical conflicts. Winning the peace, we hear, is critical to winning the war. But even better would be not having to go to war in the first place, right? So you don't have to be a number cruncher or a policy wonk to see that bad governance, economic stability, and poverty have something to do with political rest and even violence. It's not a coincidence that when civil war breaks out in Sierra Leone, it's a country with a per capita income of, $180 a year. It's not a coincidence that soaring food prices led to widespread riots, not just in Africa, but many places. I just spent the most of the month of March in sub-Saharan Africa, and I want to tell you, the energy is really extraordinary. People are just bursting to shatter all the stereotypes of doom and gloom. They really will. And if you don't take my word for it, you should doorstep the brilliant Mo Ibrahim if you spot him around here. Amazing African man, new leader. I just want to, he made the trip for me. But we can't ignore some of the current realities. You take drought and desertification, caused in part by deforestation across the Sahel, in Africa from Somalia to Nigeria. The physical devastation makes poor communities more poor and more vulnerable to extremism. If you ask Baba Mal, the amazing Senegalese bluesman who's going to play for us tonight, I think Baba is descended from the Fulani tribe, isn't that right, Baba? And they roamed the vastness of the Sahel for 1,000 years. Violent extremism does not always play a big role in these conflicts, but it's circling them. Nigeria, an extraordinary populous country, nearly 150 million maybe. It's the whole of West Africa in many ways. Muslim and Christian nation has lived by and large totally stable existence. Harmony between the two religions. But in northern Nigeria, there are signs that that's changing, which you've probably read about. Our belief in justice, our enlightened self-interest, is agreement here. It's crucial for all of us that poor and fragile economies succeed. There's a lot we can do before anyone has to send in the helicopters, or as we were saying, so that we never have to send in the helicopters. And what we should do, we have to do in concert. And that's why the one campaign being honored tonight at the Atlantic Council is so important to us. And I'm not suggesting that we do each other's jobs. Far from it. I'm not suggesting that soldiers start wearing flowers in their hair or carrying stethoscopes or fertilizers in their packs. Neither am I saying that peaceniks like me should put on combat helmets. You'll be very relieved to hear. And that would be very scary, actually.